Worst effort in the playoffs by the Lakers I've seen thus far, man. I'm about to go in an LBJ and AD later on within this game recap, man. This is a pathetic effort in terms of energy by both. Lakers lose 114 to 106 in Game 3 versus the Nuggets. Both AD and LeBron James got outplayed by a fucking role player, man. Wow. Yeah. I'm going to get into the game recap and then my thoughts overall on this game. Welcome to the Lake Show YouTube channel. If it's your first time to the channel and you're looking for a different flavor of Laker content on the tube, that's objective, rationale, logical, and substantive from a student of the game's perspective. And if you like talking Lakers basketball like I do, although you could be pissed, like right now, then you come to the right place, man. This is the place where we share our happiness, or our disappointment, and so on and so forth, and everything in between that. So this is the right place that you've come to. If you guys are looking for that type of different flavor of Laker content, then consider subscribing. And for those of you who are already subs, switch that notification bell to get alerts when I drop videos, or follow me on Twitter. My Twitter will be in the description. The link will be in the description of this video. And then lastly, can you give this video a thumbs up? We'll greatly appreciate that. Now let's get into the game recap and my roast on AD and LeBron James as well, man. The Lakers are pretty much lethargic the entire game, Laker fam. It's as if they thought the Nuggets were going to lay down and concede, defeat. I mean, this is the Nuggets team that beat the Clippers and overcame Game 7s, to get to where they are. So they're not going to go away, man. They have nothing to lose. I mean, they've overachieved, right? So the Lakers cannot have that mindset of complacency and act as if they are the clear superior opponent. They have to prove that still. So the mindset has to change, man, going into Game 4. But anyway, first quarter, man, nice shot by Danny Green on Gary Harris with a step-back three-point shot. And then JaVale McGee comes back with a steal on Joker in the post to lead to an LBJ transition scoop layup. Then LBJ follows that up with a mid-range jump shot in transition. And that was after a Joker three-point missed shot. You thought the Lakers were going to be coming out, ready to gun, man. And it appeared that way, but at least initially for the first few seconds of the game. But once again, the Lakers, man, continuing to switch again, which is why the Nuggets were playing well, just like they played well last game, and then they're playing well this game. Well, offensively to start, the Lakers' defense was slipping. The assertiveness of Joker's as well, man. He definitely imposed his will on this game for the Nuggets, and clearly that lifted the Nuggets throughout this game. But also, I thought Joker got away with 2 fouls, shoving AD after he poked the ball away in the post. On this post defense, and then JaVale McGee shoved right in the back for the offensive rebound for Joker, man. I hardly complain about the refs, Laker fam. I hardly complain about the refs and attribute, the Lakers losing the game, but I thought the refs did a pretty damn good job today to make sure to prevent the Lakers for having any momentum and stifling that. But it is what it is, man. The shoves were clear from Joker, and they're gonna let the Nuggets get away with a lot of contact and call bullshit calls on the Lakers and ticky-tack calls like on Dwight Howard, shit of that nature, when he's manhandling the Joker on the inside and or other players on the inside, fighting for position down low, things of that nature, getting offensive rebounds. And, of course, they're going to call some bullshit calls to try to extend the series. That's just my perspective. Not to get all, I don't talk about the politics because I'm apolitical. But with all this bullshit going down and the players trying to be social justice warriors, a lot of people don't want to see that bullshit. So they're not tuning into the game as much. The ratings are down. So the NBA is going to do the best job they can to try to extend series as best as they can. But it is what it is. That's just my perspective. Joker sizzling from for the Nuggets, 11 points in the first quarter, playing aggressive for the Nuggets inside and outside. Nuggets' biggest lead was 4 points in the first quarter, but the Lakers started to come back with AD, who had 7 points of his own. I thought the Nuggets were doing a good job this game, moving without the ball, getting the ball to Joker in the switches and capitalizing off of that. He's going to be able to work inside on smaller players, and that's going to get the defense to collapse. Or he's going to be able to see that and find cutters like Michael Porter Jr. and so on and so forth for the Nuggets. Nuggets 12 for 20 from the field to start. The Lakers defense wasn't on point at all the vast majority of this game, other than down the stretch of the game, with too much switching on Joker. And then the Joker, of course, is going to cook offensively, man. It's just going to enable him and Jamal Murray. So the Lakers also had bad paint defense the majority of this game, with the Nuggets having 12 points. And again, that was a result of the Lakers switching on the defensive end. Lakers trail going into the second quarter by 29-27. Moving on to the second quarter, Lakers inexcusable turnovers, man, to start, as Nuggets go on a mini run and up, I believe, 9 points, 36-27, after missing Plumlee offensive rebound. Nuggets already up to 12 points off of the Lakers' 6 turnovers, so the Lakers have to do a better job, man, overall taking care of the ball in this series. But Nuggets on a 15-2 run. Lakers just fumbling the ball on passes, man. I thought Rajon Rondo, players attacking the cup, including LeBron James, they were just passing up and overpassing for no reason. So my coaches always told me never pass the ball when you're in the air. The defense is going to collapse, and they're going to be able to rotate over. So you're going to have to, make terrible passes, and you're either going to come down and travel, or you're going to make a mistake in traffic in the air. So just a lot of unforced turnovers and a lot of unnecessary passes from the Lakers when they had opportunities to attack the cup, and they didn't in this game. But they weren't able to hit their shots as well. They weren't defending as Nuggets playing any way they wanted to. Nuggets go up 44-29 on the Morris left corner 3. I have no damn clue as to why Dwight Howard, man, wasn't playing when Joker was in a groove offensively. Dwight's defense and energy and physicality has clearly had an effect on Joker up to the point of this game in Game 3. But Vogel being retarded, man, not playing Dwight Howard. I mean, I don't understand, man. There's times where he has Luke moments, where players are playing good. I guess you're going to keep him out. I guess that's Frank Vogel's style. I don't know what it is. But just poor coaching by Frank Vogel in the aspect of not utilizing the players that have contributed the most. It's just common sense. But then again, common sense is not so common nowadays, and I guess it's like a fucking superpower, right? But things start through Joker, not Jamal Murray, from my perspective. So Joker's assertiveness and confidence rubbed off, like I said earlier, onto the rest of the Nuggets. And Dwight could have impeded that to a degree, but poor coaching by Frank Vogel, man. Dwight didn't come in until the 7-minute mark in the second quarter, and then comes in and catches a lobs. Right away, man, immediate impact. Fucking Vogel, man. Should have had him in to begin with. Nuggets then go on a 23-5 run, but AD stops the bleeding with an N1 floater at the 5+ minute mark. The game started to get away from the Lakers in the mid-second quarter or so. And from there, it was just catch-up, man. But AD scoring the last 9 points, finding rhythm offensively, rather. AD was carrying the Lakers offensively to keep them in a fighting distance in the second quarter. And then Lakers decreased the deficit to 18 points, I believe, or from 18 points down to like 10 or something like that into the second half, 63-53. And then KCP and Morris with timely 3-point shots to help the Lakers decrease the deficit, along with LBJ attacking the cup. Lakers D slipping, man, pretty much the majority of this game. Like I said, the lack of urgency was apparent from the start. But can't do that with a young, hungry Nuggets team with plenty of confidence. Like I said, they beat the Clippers. They've overcome Game 7s and things of that nature. So they're not in this to just lose to us. They're going to come to win. So the Lakers have to put them away, man, early. They have to put them away early. But they shot 54% from the field. Just not unlike Lakers or the defense that we're accustomed to seeing, Laker fan. The Nuggets been taking advantage, and again, that has to do with a lot of switching and the fact that the Lakers are turning over the ball and they're not getting back in transition and things of that nature. So, and then they're also, fouling them a lot, which I'll get into later. But it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. The Lakers have to play better. And our bench wasn't as solid as they have been. And they got outscored by the Nuggets bench by 7 points. And Morris off the bench for them had, 12 of his own. So, that's an offense that we have to control. He's similar to Jordan Clarkson for the Jazz as he is for, of course, for the Nuggets. But Nuggets playing their best, pace of the series, and the Lakers were not controlling the pace. And then they're returning over. They had plenty of turnovers. Had a lot to do with that earlier on in this game. Nuggets just playing harder as well, with 23 to 11 rebounds, out rebounding rather the Lakers. So Lakers got to step it up and not get complacent and not get manhandled in the inside when they have the size and the physicality, man. But third quarter, second half, KCP hits a 3-point shot in transition to decrease the deficit to then, which then led to get the Lakers some layups as well. And Lakers were down, I believe, 63 to 58 on a 5-0 run to start for the Lakers. Refs, calling ticky-tack calls once again, man. Having Nuggets in the bonus at the 9-minute mark. You can't have the Nuggets 3 minutes going into each quarter, man, at the bonus. It's funny because Michael Malone, the coach of the Nuggets, complained after game one when the Lakers had, 30-plus free throws or so. In the first half, I think it was, and a total of maybe close to 40, maybe something like that if I recall correctly. But it was high 30s or low 40s total free throws after game one. Ever since Michael Malone complained about that, the Nuggets have outshot them at the free throw line. And the Lakers in this game between the second and third quarters, they only shot 9 free throws, a total of 9 free throws, and they were getting hacked. And again, I don't mention the refs a lot on this YouTube channel. I don't, because I believe players lose games. The refs don't necessarily cause the players to lose games. Sure, they may have some type of influence, but it's really ultimately up to the players, the offensive and defensive schematics, and then the coaching, the game plan. That's what I see it as. I don't see it anything outside of that. So I don't blame refs for the L's, but they really had an influence to a degree in this game with stifling the Lakers' rhythm. And then on top of that, the Lakers are getting hacked going to the cup. And they were calling ticky-tack fouls on Dwight Howard, and the Lakers' physicality when players are grabbing AD, were fouling LeBron James, things of that nature, getting away with push-offs, with aggressive defense. So when you call ticky-tack calls and you don't call shit like that, it can really stifle rhythm. And then if you're going to call calls as well when the Lakers are coming back and trying to compete, it's going to prevent them from doing that because they're going to have to play less physical, which that's not really their style. They're a grit and grind defensive team. That's how they play. And their offense is dictated mostly by their defense. So if refs are going to be calling bullshit and they're not going to keep it fair or call things both ways, then the other teams are going to benefit. So that's what happened with the Nuggets this game to a degree. So it's funny that Michael Malone complained about free throws game one, and then his team ever since then is now out shooting the Lakers at the free throw line. So it's just my perspective, man. It is what it is. I'm just pointing out the facts here. Grant, killing the Lakers overall in this game, man. As no one was guarding him on the perimeter. That was pretty much LeBron James' defensive assignment. And he did terribly against Grant this game. He's improved from the perimeter offensively. Like I said, the first game rather, the Lakers can live with him taking shots at times, but they can't just leave him open completely, man. So, he's really improved offensively. And then, he has cut into the Lakers' run, has the Nuggets get a bigger lead. After the Lakers' short run, 71 rather to 59 after a 3, then still on a poor pass by AD, who had Jamal Murray in the post, man. AD, it's funny, man. You're going to hit a buzzer beater, and then you're going to muck it up after. You're going to have arguably one of the biggest games of your career, and then you're going to come out with a shitty effort and only grab 2 rebounds, Laker fam. You're 6'11". Man, pisses me off when a player of his caliber plays like that. great, and then wins the game and then comes back and mucks it up completely, man. Terrible, man. Just terrible, unacceptable to not be able to grab close to 10 rebounds. Only 2 rebounds in your, your rebounds or later on within the game in the fourth quarter. That just shows the lack of activity and the lack of urgency and aggressiveness, man. You're playing like a bitch, straight up. Posting, like I said, posting way too high, and I've been saying this for a while on the game recaps. AD has a tendency to post way too high and then dribble into a position when the defense is already there waiting for him. They're already loaded up, waiting for you. Just swing the damn ball and reestablish post position so that you have more room to operate and you're not as far outside of the paint. And then LBJ, man, getting outplayed by Jeremy Grant up to this point in the game. And I say overall, in my opinion, his energy was a lot better. His effort, grit, etc. Just outplayed AD and LeBron James. Can't have that, man. A superstar and a borderline superstar player and Anthony Davis to a fucking role player. A role player, Laker fam. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. So, 3 straight possessions by LBJ. He scores. But it only took his ass it only took his ass 3 plus quarters to get in the post and realize, man, that closer shots to the basket is going to get him going. I don't understand why LeBron James likes to play outside on the perimeter much. He just needs to go on the inside. Just hard headed, man. Like my grandmother used to say, man, a hard head make a soft behind. So it is what it is. You're gonna get your ass spanked, and that's what he did with Grant in this game, in Game 3. But 2 of those shots in the mid post, man, that's where he needs to be. I felt like, he'd been settling. Same thing with AD, and he wasn't they weren't assertive enough this game. You gotta impose your will, man. When you're the superstar player, you're the leader. You gotta, when your troops are down, you gotta be able to pick them up. And the Lakers had poor body language this game, kind of going through the motions, like I said, and expecting the Nuggets to lay down just because they were down 2-0. That's not gonna happen, man. They were clearly affected by the refs as well, not calling calls for them and calling calls against them. Got to play through it, fellas. Got to play through it. But Nuggets hot offensively as they couldn't miss, and Jeremy Grant scoring 12 points in the third quarter, man. Lakers had their biggest deficit in the playoffs thus far up to this point in the game. I think they were down, 18 or 20 or so. But nonetheless, Nuggets showing that they wanted it more. Lakers down, like I said, I believe 18 going into the fourth quarter, 93-75, and then fourth quarter, Lakers starting the quarter off lacking heart as Jamal Murray got an open dunk. No one was at the rim to meet him, man. Just terrible defense, defensive awareness, and lack of competitiveness, man. That shit was baffling to watch. Can't have a player of his caliber get easy buckets like that. Any player, but especially Jamal Murray or Jokic, man, because then their confidence is up. Then they're going to feel like they can do whatever, man. And Jamal Murray, as you've seen him down the stretch, he was just hitting shots over AD, getting into his groove, dancing on the Lakers, man. And we can't have that type of shit. We can't have that type of shit when players are out there feeling themselves and mocking us. So that cannot be accepted, and that's going to have to be rectified, man, and regulated come Game 4. But Lakers go on a 14-2 run off of their defense, as has been missing pretty much MIA the vast majority of the game. They lowered the deficit to 12 points, 99 to for the deficit, I believe from 12 or so to about 10, 99 to 89, and then AD hits a floater inside to bring the Lakers within 8, 99 to 91. Rajon Rondo with 3 steals. Great hands by Rajon Rondo, man. He was looking like Gary Payton out there, man, the glove. The funny thing is, Rajon Rondo, his energy and effort, he was pretty much the only one to ignite it. And it's funny because I started to see fans again. They always do this shit. They try to look for a scapegoat, and they don't point to the leaders when they're playing shitty when it's up to them. But they always want to blame Rondo when he wasn't even playing that bad. And he's the one that kind of got the Lakers into the back and their closest from their deficit. They came back from a 18 to 20 point deficit, and they're as close as 4 or 3 points, I believe, because of Rajon Rondo's defense and his energy. But nobody wants to talk about that. No one wants to give him credit. But it's funny, when the Lakers are doing bad and the leaders are doing bad, they don't want to point to that. They just want to point to Rajon Rondo. This is the shit I talk about, man. When you see that on Twitter and you follow that and you're paying attention, it's funny. Rajon Rondo is clearly the scapegoat. Doesn't matter if he's playing well or nothing like that. He won't get the props he deserves. And it is what it is. But again, I keep things objective. I have no horse in the race, but I just noticed that type of shit that Rajon Rondo fans, the hate, I guess, is the Celtic thing. And then the Caruso Stan shit as well. That mixed in, whatever it is. But it's obnoxious and it's annoying and it's completely unnecessary, man. And, it's funny because, like I said, he was the one that pretty much propelled the Lakers to get within a fighting chance to almost win this game. So, people want to, They want to judge on their heart, and with emotions like that, it's going to get in the way of, it's going to cloud judgment, as it often does. And like I said, that's why I stopped following a lot of people on Twitter, man, and I started muting people because there's a lot of people that don't know the game, and they just, they're just fanboys. A lot of them are fanboys, and they want to emote, and I don't have time for that shit. Keep it objective. The point is, players do well in the Lakers. It doesn't matter who, and I have no horse in the race for me. I just want the Lakers to win. I don't care who does well, but I'm going to hold the leaders more accountable. So, anyway, the Lakers went, then after that, Rondo 3 steals in a row or so, went to a 1-2-2 zone, and it really shook the Nuggets, man. They didn't know what to do. It kind of stifled the pick and roll action with Jamal Murray and Joker, and the Lakers were able to disrupt them offensively. It was clear, and that's how they were able to get back in the game as well. And what pissed me off, man, what pissed me the fuck off, Laker fan, was LBJ's shot selection during this run, during the Lakers coming back, taking unnecessary deep threes in the clutch, poor passes in transition, which resulted in turnovers and a miss of the Lakers coming back. A reason why LeBron James, man, a few reasons why he cannot be the GOAT. It's done. Since 2011, his biggest meltdown for a superstar ever against the Mavericks, getting outplayed by 5'6", a midget with all due respect, and JJ Barea. And then having two All-Stars or one superstar on the team in Dwayne Wade and an All-Star in Chris Bosh. He can't be the GOAT because he lacks mental fortitude at times in closing and does dumb shit like this, like he did this game. So the loss is mostly on him, in my opinion, man, because the Lakers had a chance to come back and win this game. They did. And then as the leader, the buck starts with you. And his lack of assertiveness, he's got to stop trying to play the facilitator, man, full time. Allow Rondo to do that. Get your ass in the post, play hard, and impose your will in the game, just like Joker did. The Joker didn't settle, man. He came in, he went to the post right away, draw some fouls, and took it to the Lakers defenders, whether it was on switches or whether it was with AD or JaVale McGee. But, his inability to close, and then the fact that he's 3-6 in the finals or so, man, he can't be the GOAT. And I know I'm probably going to lose a couple of subscribers. I don't give a shit. I'm not doing this for that. I'm doing this because I have a passion of speaking objectively and speaking what I see and how the way I see it. And this is not a Stanboy channel, so if you're gonna claim I'm hating because I'm pointing out the facts, please leave the channel, unsubscribe. I don't deal with that type of bullshit. I will mute you or block you, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I call it like I see it. So LeBron James, man, has a tendency to, his fanboys have a tendency to not point out the objective aspect of him. His failures and things like that, or his issues. And Lakers had success attacking the rim, man. I just didn't understand that, getting turnovers, but this fool decides, nah, I'm just going to dribble the shot clock out and take deep step back threes, or put my teammates in a position to try to create with the shot clock at 8. Man, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bruh? Move the ball or attack the cup and stop holding on to the damn ball. His ass needs to get in the post more, as he had success earlier in this game at the elbows, the pitch elbows, I believe on the far left side, when he hit a couple shots on Jeremy Grant. OBJ's IQ at times, man, is suspect, Laker fam. The losses on him mostly. And then AD's ass, you're not off the hook, brother. You are not off the hook. I'm getting on your ass as well. Only 2 rebounds the vast majority of this game, and didn't get his first until, the fourth or so, the mid-fourth. Bruh, you got to grow a fucking pair, my guy. You can't be 6'11" or so and not have boards the vast majority of this game. That just tells me he was playing hella soft, and he was playing with no balls, man. Both of our all-star players can't lack the ability to close games and play soft, man. This Nuggets team is young, they're hungry, and they're coming to win. Very frustrating, Laker fan. Man. Very frustrating. You know, at least they didn't get smoked out, you know, by the Nuggets, and they almost came back, but almost doesn't count. And quiet as kept, man. Just my perspective, they probably should be down 2-1 in the series. However, I mean, Jamal Murray said, I believe, in his post-game interview that they feel like they should have been up 2-1. He has a legitimate case. I somewhat disagree in the aspect because the Lakers were up by a lot, and then they took their foot off the gas pedal. But, you know, he has a point to a degree. But the Lakers is still, in my opinion, they're fortunate to be up 2-1. I keep it 100 in this channel. I'm not going to tell y'all what y'all want to hear, like other Laker YouTube channels or channels in general on the tube, man. But Lakers letting role players look like all-stars and Jeremy Grant. And that's no diss to the brother, but he shouldn't have 26 points, man. He shouldn't be outplaying, the Laker all-star players and one superstar player and all-time great player and a self-proclaimed GOAT in LeBron James. He should not be outplaying him with energy and have just as much output on points. Sure, LeBron James had 30 points, but it's not about stats. He got outplayed on energy and effort, man, and assertiveness. So, you know, that's unacceptable. The Lakers have a tendency to make, you know, decent players look like all-stars. It's a damn shame. He played with more balls, you know, than AD and LBJ combined. Fuck out of here with that bullshit, man. Disappointed in both y'all. Shit like that cannot happen whatsoever, man. Cannot happen. But, you know, Denver had 44 to 25 rebounds, dominated the Lakers in the glass like some bitches, man, out there. You know, Lakers cannot allow the Nuggets to out-rebound them and, you know, play bigger than them. They can't do that. The Nuggets played tougher than the Lakers and wanted them more, and that was a key distinction here in this game. Lakers also had 26 fouls, allowed 29 free throws for the Nuggets, who made 23 out of 29, man. Lakers got to stop fouling a lot. And like I said, refs, I hardly mentioned them on this YouTube channel, but they really stifled the Lakers' momentum earlier in this game. However, I blame the Lakers' lack of energy, particularly from LBJ and AD, man, with no sense of urgency to close this game. They were too focused on jawing with the refs to get calls. You know, fuck the refs, man. You just got to play through it. Damn them. Play to win. Play with urgency, energy from start to finish. Unacceptable from LeBron James and AD, man. Once again, I got to hold them accountable. Losses on them both as leaders of this team. Losses on them both. You know, they didn't impose their will in this game. And Rondo was actually more influential with heart, effort, and energy, and almost, you know, got the Lakers within fighting distance and caused them to come back in this game with key steals and then energy. It almost got them back. But a little too late for the Lakers, man. And Jamal Murray did his thing. Boy can get buckets, straight up. He can get buckets. Don't like dude, you know, from D-Lo days and you know, with Julius Randle. You know, him stripping Lonzo and this and that. And that one time he did what he did, you know, it's personal. I'm not really into him. Jamal Murray just has that type of attitude, that type of dude you just want to punch. That's just, it's no disrespect. This is how I feel about the brother, but I got respect for his game, though, man. It is what it is. Great, very, very good player. But AD had the biggest game probably of his career, hitting that buzzer beater, like I said earlier, man. Then getting 2 rebounds on this game, playing soft on the inside. I agree with Charles Barkley, and I hardly agree with Charles Barkley. He said post-game maybe on an NBA TNT show that Anthony Davis should never get 2 rebounds in a game, and I couldn't agree more, bruh. I couldn't agree more. Lakers needed this L. You know, hopefully they take shit more serious and it wakes them up, and they come back with a sense of urgency from start to finish. You know, peeps are gonna look at stats like Shaq did with LBJ and Anthony Davis, but the Lakers were down the vast majority of this game, and they didn't play hard enough to win. Only Rajon Rondo and Alex Caruso, with their energy and effort, forcing turnovers, etc., imposing their will on this game to try to get the Lakers back. And they're not even the leaders of this team. So our leaders got to step it up, man. I'm posing a challenge to Anthony Davis and LBJ. I'm calling them out. Grow some pair, fellas, and play harder, man. Impose your will in the game. Don't come out flat like bitches, straight up. Gotta play better. You know, they better wake their ass up, man, because the Nuggets, you know, they got all the confidence in the world after beating the sorry-ass overrated-ass Clippers, man. So, you know, they got to impose the will from start to finish and show that they are the better team. And it's got to be with their defense. It's got to be with their energy, effort, and their physicality, man. So, wake up, Lakers. because the Nuggets are going to be there at the door knocking, man. And we got to keep that door sealed. The positive thing, Laker fam, going into Game 4 that we won't see happen probably ever again, hopefully not, is Anthony Davis getting 2 rebounds, man. I can't even recall that when that's ever happened. When he goes 3 quarters over from rebounding. The Nuggets out rebounding the Lakers by 19 or so, or 20, I think it was. And then Jeremy Grant, with all due respect, a role player, getting 26 points. And then the Lakers also, for the second and third quarter, combining for about 9 free throws. I don't think we're going to see that throughout the rest of the series. So that's the positive thing, Laker Nation, that we're not going to be seeing bullshit like that. So the Lakers definitely could beat the Nuggets. It's just that they have to close those type of mistakes and close the gaps, and not, like I said, not allow the Nuggets to knock at that door and walk in and have 1 foot in and out. The Lakers have to, from the start, play with a sense of urgency, play physical, and impose their will, man. Period. And it has to start with LeBron James, and it has to start with Anthony Davis. So, all right, Laker fam, tough L tonight. Disappointing, but more series to go on, as the Lakers have an opportunity to play hard from the start and come out with better energy in Game 4. Comment, like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.